Hi, my name is Jenny. Welcome to my channel, JK Star A Reader. Today I'm doing a Friday Reads. That's right, it's a Friday Reads from me, and I have a stack of books here that I want to talk about. So let's get going. The first book I have to show you, it is A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. So I've been meaning to get around to reading this book. I've read a few chapters already. I want to read the rest as soon as I can. This is my number one pick for the Magical Readathon, and I am slowly getting behind on that readathon. So I thought with the few weeks in of until September, I want to get ahead on my reading. So yeah, this is a book about a traveler who can go to parallel Londons who that exist in parallel universes from each other, and each London is assigned a color, and there are different levels of magic that exist in each of the Londons. So we'll see where the adventure goes. A Darker Shade of Magic by B.E. Schwab, and it is the first book in a trilogy. Next, I have a book that I've read before, but I want to reread, and so this one is The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. I read poetry from time to time, and I've given it a rest for the last couple of years as I was writing my own poetry book, but now I have a desire to get back to reading poetry, and I thought I should reread The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. This author has recently released a new book called Family Lore, and that is on the burner for me to read. But I decided to go back to The Poet X. I believe the first time I read it, I read only to the halfway mark. As I said, I do read poetry, but they tend to be the slim volumes of poetry, and they tend to be poets that I've heard deliver poetry in person, and so it takes me a while. I guess it takes a lot for me to read a novel length volume of poetry, and this is a book told in verse, so we'll see how this goes. Yeah, The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. Next, I have another book to show you, and this is Descending Stories by Haruko Kumota. So yeah, this is one of the few manga that I have not read yet. I have been trying to make it a goal of mine to read more manga, but I haven't really been successful this year. And so this is the first volume in the series, and it follows someone who has been released from prison, and he decides to take up the traditional form of comedy in Japan called Rukago. And so I am intrigued enough to start this manga series, and once I read this from cover to cover as I usually do with manga, hopefully we'll be able to want to go further into this series. Yeah, Descending Stories by Haruko Kumota. The next book I have is one that I've already started, and this one is Under a Silent Moon by Elizabeth Haynes. And so this is a British crime novel that takes place in the countryside, and it is a mystery trying to figure out what caused the death of two young women at separate times, but then there seems to be a connection. And so, yeah, I'm not far into this book either, and I want to make it more of a priority as I find this to be a book that I can read through fairly quickly with the quick pace that it has. So, Under a Silent Moon by Elizabeth Haynes. Another book that I've been meaning to finish, and this one is Dreaming Home by Lucian Child. So this is a fairly slim novel, and I got it from the library, and it is about the children of a former Vietnam POW and how their lives changed by his one act of I guess uh, religious conviction, what it costs their children as they try to deal with the aftermath and finding themselves part of the queer community. And so, yeah, Dreaming Home by Lucian Child. And the next book that I have to show you, it is Passenger by Alexandra Bracken. So I am enjoying the book this I have been reading so far. I am also not very far in this book, but I find the adventures, some tone that it has, it draws me in as a reader, and it's something that I find will be a good diversion, as it is a trip back in time and see what all the interest is in that all these books that were written after the success of a Disney pirate franchise that was popular last decade, I guess. So, yeah, Passenger by Alexandra Bracken. And one more book, and this book is Mr. Flood's Last Resort by Jess Kidd. And so this is a book I actually started last year, and I only made it to about the halfway mark of this book. And so now it is starting to cool down, and fall is approaching. This book, it seems to have the colors of the fall. And so I do want to get back to this book. So I'll read you what it says on the back cover to give you a better sense of what the book is about. And it's good a reminder of me what the story is about as well. So here it goes. It says, the spellbinding tale of a lonely caregiver and a cranky hoarder with a house full of secrets. Maud Drennan is a dedicated caregiver whose sunny disposition masks a deep sadness. A tragic childhood event left her haunted, in the company of a cast of prattling saints who pop in and out of her life like tourists. Other than visiting her agoraphobic neighbor, Maud keeps to herself, finding solace in her work and her humble existence, until she meets Mr. Flood. And so there's something strange about Mr. Flood, the person that Maud is given the task of being a caregiver to. And so we'll see where the story eventually goes. So yeah, Mr. Flood's Last Resort by Jess Kidd. Okay, that's it for me for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye!